Racing to Win is your twice-weekly preview show for Hong Kong racing, and the midweek action moves to Happy Valley for an 8-race card. It's great to have you with us here on the show. I'm Tom Wood, joined in the studio by Paul Lally and Nick Child. And Nick, what are some of the highlights for Wednesday night?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Yeah, look, plenty of them, actually. I thought the end of the card, the last couple of races, the Repulse Bay and the Sheko Handicap, two races certainly to look forward to, so certainly worth staying around to the very end. We've got Speedsters and some very classy Class 2 horses, Tom.
Yes, in the last event, Class 2, Paul. No debutants, but jackpots. The Triple Trio was hard to come by Sunday at Sha Tin.
There is, and we've got a big 6-up win bonus there as well. So 5 million going into that, so that should get it over the 10 million mark. So it's definitely worth winning, as they all are, aren't they? They're all worth winning. And as Nick alluded to earlier on, there's some quick races coming up, especially that race 7 looks full of pace.
Yeah, that is the 1,000-metre race, so lots to look forward to. We're coming up on Wednesday night at Happy Valley. Well, early on in the season, we do like to try and peg down a few horses that you might be able to have a look at through the course of the season here in Hong Kong. Yes, horses to follow for the 2025-26 racing season. Paul, what have you come up with?
Come up with a horse who's off a rating of 68. He won his last 2 races at the back end of last season, and he just really improved from start to start. He's only had the 4 starts. He's called Lucky My Way. He's there in the pink jacket at the back of this trial. He's actually entered for the races coming up on the weekend, so you don't have to wait long to see him. Look, he's a horse where they have sort of marked as a possible candidate for the 4-year-old series. He's going to have to take that step up once again, but he's bred to go through the 4-year-old series. You can see him really finishing off nicely into 4th here and doing what he had to do. A nice trial leading into the weekend's racing. So we'll go with him and see if he does make it into the 4-year-old series.
OK, he's been a proven horse already. Yeah, that is Lucky My Way, so we'll see him at the weekend. Trials from Tuesday morning this morning, Nick, another horse that was proven last season.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, this is a horse by the name of Little Paradise, trained by Jimmy Ting. This is his trial from this morning out on the turf. Zach Purton was on board as well, so there's always a sign of intent there when the multiple champion gets on board. 2 from 4 last campaign, won his first couple, looked very precocious early on. A little bit of a dip in form on his 3rd start, but I thought he finished off the season there with a good second in a race that has been franked since then as well from a form perspective. So off a mark of 70, Jimmy Ting's got some handy enough type of horses in his stable, and I think this horse could very quickly elevate him to be one of the stars, perhaps. Yeah,
he's looked certainly promising through his opening starts last season, Little Paradise. Another trial from Tuesday the morning, and it was on a rain-affected all-weather track from Packing Phoenix, who comes out of the stable of Francis Lloyd. Zach Purton was aboard this trial this morning. He's a 4-year-old by Star Spangled Banner out of a Lonhro mare, and he's had a few trials leading into what will hopefully be his intended start in the next couple of weeks. But this was over the 1,200 metres and won it nicely here. He'd won down the straight at Sha Tin in 57.86, and he's also had a couple of trials leading into his last 2 efforts as well. So he'll be a debutant, hoping to step out in the next couple of weeks. That is Packing Phoenix. So a recap on our horses to follow. Paul with Lucky My Way, Nick with Little Paradise. Both of those horses have lined up last season and won races, and a debutant hopefully in the next few weeks for myself, Packing Phoenix out of the Francis Lloyd stable. As we move to the details for Wednesday night at Happy Valley, we've got an 8-race card coming up. There was a big crowd there last week. We're racing on the B course, and we're previewing the final 2 races, the Repulse Bay Handicap and the Sheko Handicap, the Class 2 over the 1650. Repulse Bay, always a good place to sit down, relax, enjoy the sun, enjoy the surf, and Superb Capitalist at the top with the £135 drawn barrier number 1. Youthful Spirits hasn't won for quite some time. Wings of War. La Force is coming to Happy Valley for his very first start at the City Circuit. Spicy Gold, you've got Romantic Sun. Friends of Sharjing ran a top race at his debut. Candlelight Dinner, of course, won 2 runs ago. Healthy, luckless last start. Surcharge has only had limited starts, 3 in total. for David Eustace, Karis Teton, and Justifying also coming to Happy Valley for the very first time. Lots of speed in this race, Paul.
Yeah, Youthful Spirits only knows one way, and that's to lead. Candlelight Dinner is very speedy, and he's sort of one-dimensional as well. Superb Capitalist has got the inside draw and has led in the past, but he wouldn't want to get into a speed battle. Matthew Chadwick. La Forza coming here to Happy Valley for the first time. He's got pace. Justifying's led down the straight 1,000 in the past as well. Friends of Shanjing, Healthy gets back. Romantic Sun might have to go back, Surcharge. And Wings of War, he likes to be held up in the early part of the race.
Nick was our man down at the track this morning conducting the interviews, and Mark Newnham, he's got two bites of the cherry here, Youthful Spirits and also Spicy Gold.
Mark Newnham, you're pretty well represented in race 7. Two different types of horses as well. You've got one that's going to probably rush forward, one that's going to be held up off the pace. But let's start with Youthful Spirits, the one that's slightly higher rated. How is he? Obviously over his favourite course and distance once again.
Yeah, look, he doesn't change much. We know what to expect from him. He's a very quick horse, and you can't hold him up too much. His head gets higher, and he doesn't breathe the best. So you have to just work with him. And Luke gets on well with him. His frustrating season last season, I think 5 seconds, including one that was everyone thought he was the winner, but didn't get the verdict. He's had a trial. He's going well, but we won't see much change in him.
No, absolutely. And I mean, looking back to his record, his win came off 65 in June of 2024. He's a real honest, consistent horse. I mean, you, I'm sure, would love to see him win another one. So too his connections, as too would many of us, because he's sort of going up the weights without winning, which is always a bit tough, isn't it? Yeah,
frustrating because he's paying for his consistency, but without winning. I mean, he did earn plenty of prize money, which was nice for his owners, but frustrating for his trainer and jockey.
I'm sure it was. Well, hopefully that frustration will come to an end. You've also got Spicy Gold. I really want to speak to you about him because he's an interesting horse over the minimum trip.
Yeah, really good fresh. I just thought 1,000 fresh off a fast pace might suit him early in the season. He's been very consistent at Happy Valley, but we haven't tried the 1,000 with him. But there's every opportunity that he'll hit the line strongly.
I thought his trial mark looked really good recently as well.
Yeah, look, he was fresh and he got up on the pace, which is unusual for him. But he stayed on well in good company. But look, with tomorrow night's pace of the race, I'd expect that he'll settle in the last couple, but look for him late.
Talking of sort of last season, slightly contrasting between your pair, obviously Youthful Spirits not managing, but this fellow won 3 last year, and he's sort of a bit like the gift that keeps on giving. He always seems to pop up and do his job and know his job, doesn't he? Yeah,
and look, he's looking at him and the way he races, he's the most unlikely Happy Valley horse you'd ever see. He's big and awkward, gets back, all the things that generally don't win your races at Happy Valley, but once he gets it together, he chases hard, and he didn't put in a bad run all season.
I know they're two slightly different horses and will run in slightly different styles, but can you split the pair of them? I know they're two very different sort of dynamics coming into this race.
I probably have a slight leaning to Spicy Gold. I just see there'll be a lot of pressure up front with Candlelight Dinner and Youthful Spirits. And Youthful Spirits, he did take a couple of runs last season before he got to his best, so I'd say that Spicy Gold's a little bit better fresh.
Nice insights there from Mark Newnham. Paul, Youthful Spirits with all that pace in the race, does that bring him undone, you think, this race?
It has in the past, hasn't it? He sort of, when he's gone his really good races, he's led and got a sole lead, but with Candlelight Dinner in, it's going to make it hard for him.
Mark Newnham, Nick's done a great job with Spicy Gold because he was a real hot hit in the parade, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. Do you know, it's funny, every time I think of Spicy Gold, I always think back to his debut. And maybe he could barely get to the start, I think, from memory. He was obviously a bit of a cantankerous soul, but no, he's good now and he loves the valley, doesn't he?
Let's have a look at Candlelight Dinner in his most recent start, dating back to the end of last season, race 8-4. Healthy on the inside, no luck. Surcharge didn't have a great deal. Youthful Spirits there on the outside, and Superb Capitalist on the pace as well. It was a big run here from Friends of Sharjing. Nick put up one of the best closing sectionals of the meeting. Yeah, do you know what? It's, eye-catching. Doesn't quite do it justice, I suppose. He's barely got a horse behind him there, but he's run on very strongly. Jerry Chow was on board. He's since been gelded. He's drawn gate 2 around here, which is always a positive, and I
I think with all that speed, it could well suit a horse like him. So I'd take him out of that race, Paul.
Yeah, he goes. And I like Superb Capitalist as well because it was a really good fresh record and he's won off a lot higher rating as well. And he's trialled well leading into it. So I quite like him, but I don't mind Friends of Shanxing. I think we'll see the better of him over 1,200 though.
Yeah, tend to agree. He was going to run P nowhere at the 400 metres last start. You mentioned Paul, Superb Capitalist. You're keen on him here. His trial up at Chung Fa running 61.36 here for the 1,050.
Yeah, it was a bit of a low-grade trial with the other horses. He was the highest-rated horse in this trial and deserved to win it. But he did what he had to do and he won it easily. He's won off an 86 rating. He's down to 79. He's drawn barrier number 1. He can sit behind the pace. And he's won fresh before, so I quite like him in this.
Yeah, look, he's a horse that stood the test of time, really, hasn't he, this fellow? I mean, he's a 6-year-old now, but he's a 6-time winner. You'd be hard-pushed to say he can't win more, that's for sure. And he comes here in very good form, clearly. That's
the verdict on Superb Capitalist, who does go well fresh, a 6-time winner. Now to La Forza, who has been back to the trials at Sha Tin on the 11th of September. He has trialled Nick at Happy Valley in the past. Your verdict on him this week?
I think he's interesting, Tom, for sure. Look, the stable are obviously flying along at the minute, and that trial, I mean, he handled himself around Happy Valley. That was obviously a little bit earlier on in his career. Goes well fresh, so 78 days off, shouldn't put anybody off, and you know, he made all to win that trial. He's a fascinating runner, first time here, for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a bit of a chance in this. He's already won in the grade. He's a Class 3 winner. And Zach Purden was on record saying that the horse had really strengthened him up from his Griffin days. So with another season under his belt, we'll see what he can do.
Well, he's trained by Jamie Richards, and he's a man at the moment that can do no wrong. He's come out of the blocks absolutely flying, and he's now had winner Paul at each and every meeting.
Yeah, he's going really well, isn't he? And he said there's 5 wins from the 15 starters. He's got some good horses running around once again here at Happy Valley. He's got a quiet night coming up at Sha Tin the week or on Sunday, but he's got La Forza. I think it's definitely the standout of those 3.
I think so. Look, romantic fantasy. He's a horse who can operate and go well enough, but I think maybe La Forza certainly is the one. Yeah.
One more to highlight for the speedsters here over the 1,000 metres. He's wearing the crossover noseband for the first time. It is Wings of War up here at Chung Fa, covering a bit of ground in this trial. Nick, if the pace is on, is he one that can capitalise on that? Because he's only a 1,200 metre winner. He's unproven the 1,000. He
is. And again, I think that's going to be the sort of the key component to this race, is just how quickly they go and who benefits from it most. And I guess on paper, you'd think a horse off the pace is going to do just that. So look, Wings of War, he's a horse who has won fresh in the past. He's fascinating at this distance, £2 higher than his last win, so he's off the right sort of mark.
Yeah, he is. He's pretty close to it. I think there will be pace, so I include him, not on a win line, but he goes in the numbers. Because the back end of last season, he did hit the line quite strongly in that last race.
Keegan DeMello was riding for Douglas White, and he had a winning double when we were last at Happy Valley last Wednesday night. Time to nail you down, Paul, for some selections here for the speedsters over the 1,000.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Superb Capitalist from Barrier 1. I just think he's going to be in the right position and behind this pace, and he's a 6-time winner and one of higher ratings in the past. So he's on top. La Forza coming here for the first time, Wings of War, and Friends of Sha Jing finishing off strongly. 1-4-3-7.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the latter there, actually, Friends of Sha Jing. I just thought that was so eye-catching last time out. He's being gelded. That could well have brought him on, and if it has, with a good pace, I can see him running home strongly once again. So we'll put the 7 on top. La Forza in for second, I think can go well. Nice fresh record with him. Justifying down at the bottom, I thought he was another interesting runner here. Draws well, no weight. Casper Founds, Alexi Bedell teaming up, might be worth watching. And Superb Capitalist, big weight, so he's got to give weight away to all, but he's more than capable. 7-4, 11-1.
That is a preview of race number 7 coming up at Happy Valley on Wednesday night. We're going to take a quick break here on Racing to Win, and on the other side we've got the preview of race 8, which is a Class 2 over the 16-50. All the best bets, plenty more to come here on Racing to Win. Racing to Win continues for Wednesday night at Happy Valley. Before we dive into race number 8 to wrap the program, it's time for the last run reminder. What's coming out of the vault this week, Paul?
Well, there was a real big run at the back end of last season by Forever Folks in race 3. Now, he's changed stables since. You can see him, he's 4 or 5 wide, and he was like that the whole race. He's under pressure. He's one of those horses, you've got to close your eyes because he looks like he's under pressure a long way from home, but he responds. You can see him still, he's 5 wide plus there, and he almost won this race. It was a huge run. Now, he's trialled awful since he's this season, so that's always going to be a little bit of a concern. He's got blinkers back on though, and maybe he's just one of these lazy track workers that when he gets down to race day, he can really perform. Like, he just kept coming. Huge run. Couldn't quite pick up the winner, but he wasn't far away.
He was under a right a fair way out there,
Yeah.
but he had covered some ground as well. So he is race 3, number 8, Forever Folks, going around at Happy Valley. The last event on the card is Class 2, 1650. And it's effectively a 94 to 81 rated race with at the top California Totality, Tony Cruz and Alexi Vidal. Voyage Samurai, Telecom Fighters lining up for Mi Choi. Was at the back in a recent barrier trial. Encountered has joined the stable of Brett Crawford, has not won in a long time. The tongue ties off. Last City Blanche back from the champions in Chader. Soleil Fighter. Steps ahead goes well fresh. Jumbo Legend finished his season off in a rush with 3 wins. Keefe, Lowrider has the Shadow Roll going on, Brave Hearts and Woodfire Bro down at the bottom, drawn barrier number 11. He actually, Paul, won this race last year, did Woodfire Bro.
He did, and look, he ran a really good race at the back end of last season, but he's drawn wide, unfortunately, for him. But Telecom Fighters, look, he's the horse that just... He sort of likes to lead, likes to dictate from the front. I know he went back in a recent trial, but if you just look for his stats, he leads in his races. California Totality likes to go forward. Voyage Samurai is the alternative leader if Telecom Fighters doesn't want to lead. Looks a bit tricky for Soleil Fighter. He's going to be a lot of support with Zach Purton aboard, but he's drawn wide, but he's gone well in a recent trial. Lowrider, Keithy will get some good runs. Steps ahead, might just be one place further back, but has done that in the past. Encountered likewise, and Jumbo Legend will want a lot of pace on.
Lyle Hewitson was on the board at the weekend at Sharton, and in the final race at Happy Valley Wednesday night, he is riding steps ahead for Francis Loy.
Well, Hewitson, a pretty good race coming up on Wednesday night, the 8th. You're riding steps ahead, a horse that you know really well, and he's going to get competitive in this, isn't he, given what we know about him?
Yeah, he's a lovely horse. Of course, I rode him in the 4-year-old series, and even then I was of the opinion that he's probably looking for blinkers and maybe even the 1650 at Happy Valley. Unfortunately, I wasn't on him when he did go to Happy Valley, but he acquitted himself very well with the distance and the headgear. And there's no reason why he can't continue that vein of form, because he's a very consistent horse.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned the headgear, of course. I mean, that obviously stood to him well, didn't it? And the fact he's had a good sight around here and gone close, that's obviously a massive plus point.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's a horse that likes a building tempo, which you usually get at Happy Valley. And the blinkers sort of just help him, because a lot of the time he's been edged out close to the line. And we just thought it could help him to keep his focus right through past the post. So, yeah, look, like I said, he held a great vein of form last season, and there's no reason why he won't continue this season.
He's had a recent trial, and I know you didn't ride him there, but he looked pretty comfortable in it. You've ridden him in some track work, and what you know about him, he's quite a good fresh horse too, and his record would certainly suggest that.
Yeah, I think the freshness just helps him have a little bit more of a change of gear. In his trial, he showed that freshness because he travelled probably a fraction better than usual in the middle stages, and then he was a bit plain at the end. But I mean, you could forgive him for that, and he will have come on. And his track work the other day, I thought he felt that he was pretty fit for first up horse, and certainly had come on from his trial. So he's going into the race in good condition for first up run.
And with that, obviously, that level of fitness, he sort of needs to be, doesn't he? Because this is a good competitive race.
Yeah, really good race, and it's just made harder by a tricky draw for us, especially with the way it looks like it's going to map on paper. But he's a horse that jumps well, and then you can sort of assess the situation, because he is very versatile. So, you know, I think if all being well and he gets a decent spot in the run, which I'm sure he will do for himself, then he'll be very competitive and should be fighting at the finish. And
hopefully, Lyle, he can add to the tally that you've already got up and running. Well done, obviously, the winner on the weekend. I guess a relieving moment, sort of getting that winner on the board, obviously, after, you know, obviously the injuries, etc. Nice to get back in the winner's circle.
Yeah, well, it was the 24th of June when I last rode in a race, so it was nice to get back on the board, like you say, sort of monkey off the back, but also just a great feeling to win on one that seems pretty nice in a slick time. And also just give owners and trainers a bit more confidence. I think there's always that slight bit of doubt in their head, but it was a good weekend. I had 5 rides, 2 seconds and a winner, and the other one ran well. So, yeah, I think that things are ready to go full steam ahead.
Lyle Hewitson rather partnering steps ahead, of course, through that trial was Storming Dragon, who won last week. On we go to the next of them, and we're having a look here at Soleil Fighter, Keefe Encountered, California Totality, Jumbo Legend and Woodfire Bro. Who are we picking out of this, Paul? Any thoughts time this week for Encountered?
Yeah, I do. I quite like him. He's getting down to a winning rating. He's 20 points below his last win. He won off 110. He's down to 90. Like he didn't have a good season last season, but I thought this trial was okay leading into it. And with the pace in the race, he should get the race run to suit.
Yeah, that win in the ladies' purse, so obviously he's got handy form. Look, Woodfire Bro's a horse I think you can certainly keep an eye on here. He goes very well fresh, this horse.
He certainly does. As we have a look at Alexi Bedell, he came out of the blocks firing at Sharton over the weekend. He also, like many jockeys, spent some time overseas during the off-season, including a stint in Japan.
Yeah, he had a cracking time in Japan, didn't he? 12 wins and obviously the same number of placings as well. Really good strike rate for top three, of course. And he started this season off with a bang as well, operating at nearly 40% for top three there, Paul.
He's going well, isn't he? And look, he hasn't got any favourites in there. He's got chances in a few of his races there, but there's no sort of standouts.
Certainly been used by Casper Founds a bit there with Glory Cloud and also Justifying. He's riding California Totality in this final event on Wednesday night. Lowrider now, he's got a gear change this week. Lowrider, the shadow roll is going on for Casper Founds and Harry Bentley. He is coming, Paul, to Happy Valley for the very first time. Hasn't trialled here. He's had 2 up at Chung Fa leading into this. Yeah,
he has. He's still a 7-start maiden here in Hong Kong. He should get his opportunity from barrier number 1, but I'm just sort of happy to watch in this field.
Do you know what? He's not far, Tom, off winning the right race. I don't think this is it, but he's a horse with plenty of form. I mean, let's not forget he was 4th in a derby, so that can count for plenty. I think perhaps over a little bit further in due course. Yep,
so he certainly wasn't far away in the derby. Selections for the last, Paul. It's a good race.
Yeah, it does, a really good race. Hopefully we'll get a bit of value around Encountered. I've gone for him. Such a well-rated horse now. It's a good pick up there for Brett Crawford. Steps ahead's obviously going to be tough to beat. The reason he didn't go on top, he just might be one place further back than he would like. California Totality is an honest horse, and Leo Fighter will need luck from that wide draw. 4-7-1-6.
Yeah, I've gone towards the bottom of the weights here, as Tom mentioned. Woodfire Bro, obviously good in this race 12 months ago. Draw a little bit sticky, but if you can overcome that, he's got an excellent fresh record. Steps ahead in for second. Jumbo Legend goes in, and if there's a decent pace, it will suit him. He's won over further as well. And Telecom Fighters, I think, will put himself up on the pace for a long way, and he's a horse that doesn't really give in easily. 12, 7, 8 and 3. For
a breakdown of each and every race, you'll find it on the website hkjc.com under audio and video. But it's come to that time of the show where, Paul, we need your best, your value and your play, please.
Going to go with a horse called Another Zonda. Now, this horse here stepped up to 1650, being by the Autumn Sun. Was ideal for him. He's 1 for 1 over the course and distance, and it was a huge run. He made this really long sustained run from the 600 and just managed to hold on. So look, he wasn't stopping. I think in this field he's still got plenty of rating points in hand, and he could win again. So he's the best. And horse has only had 2 starts, Super Universal. Nice trial win for him up at Chung Fa in the off-season or in the last week. So he's the value. And we'll do the play in that last race we just talked about with the California Totality Encountered and steps ahead.
Yeah, best bet for me coming up on Wednesday evening, race 5 and 4, Honest Witness. He's got this tongue tie going on first time. He's looked as if a win is very close indeed, so I think he can get the job done. The value, race 2 number 8, keep an eye out for Snowthorn. There's something with this horse. He's certainly got ability. He's had the 3 starts. Hopefully he's over his injury ailments recently as well. And race 6 is the play, 3, 5 and 6, the numbers there.
Best bet comes up in the last. We'll go with steps ahead. Lyle Hewitson. Francis Loy goes well fresh. Draws a little bit awkward, but I think is good enough to win first up. Value Friends of Sha Jing for Danny Shum. Excellent run at the back end of last season. Probably wants a little further than the 1,000, and we'll take the play in that race as well around Healthy, who was unlucky last start, and also Sir Charge. Let's have a look at the diary with what we've got coming up here in Hong Kong over the next 7 days. And we've got racing at Sharton at the weekend, Nick, and then back to Happy Valley again.
We have indeed, yeah. A couple of cups there to look forward to as well, both at Happy Valley and Sharton. So enjoyable racing all round.
All good, and keep an eye out for Lucky My Way, my horse to follow, running on Sunday as well.
Yep, you can find the entries for the weekend on the website hkjc.com. But that's it for the show. We look forward to your company for action from Happy Valley coming up on Wednesday night. On behalf of Nick, Paul and the rest of the team, we'll see you there where we will be racing to win.